What is going on YouTube? And in today's video I'm going to be running you guys through the trade that I took today, just going over my bias, my outlook, my conviction for the trade, why I entered the trade, what went wrong and what went right during the trade. So without further ado, let's get into it and delete all of these drawings on both charts. So as you can see, starting out on the 1 hour time frame, this 8 a.m. candle here, what I was looking at was basically this. So at first, let me get rid of this. So at first we had SMT at these highs here, as you see here. We don't sweep out that high, and then on US100 we do sweep out that high. So as you can see, we put in an SMT there, right? But what did it for me that made this SMT not valid is what I talked about in my previous videos. This leg, or this low here, that was put in before the run of this high got swept. So this SMT has already done its job by running out this low. So this SMT was no longer valid to me. So with that out the way, this is the price action that I was looking at today. So what I did notice was we had this big 1 hour bearish fair value gap that we traded up, rejected off, and then what also is going on is we're trading inside of this bullish 1 hour gap. So we trade up to the bearish 1 hour, tap it, trade down into the bullish 1 hour, respect that, and now what else? Also trading inside of this bearish fair value gap. So there's a lot of fair value gaps going on here, but it's all about time, right? There's a lot of fair value gaps going on here, right? So at this point in time, we are here on the US100. So going into today, what I kind of wanted to see was, I don't know, right? I don't know what I wanted to see because we're bouncing back in between fair value gaps. I don't know what price wants to do. So I'm going to wait, and going on to the 5-minute time frame at 9 a.m. Again, I'm just patiently waiting until market open, and that's when I look for, whoops, let me do that. And then that's when I just wait for market open to do what it do, and then that's when I look for my trade. So heading into market open today, as you can see, we had this big bearish candle, almost 100 points just at market open. So I was like, let me zoom back out. Here we go. Monday here. So zooming out, I was like, okay. So we just had a big sell-off at market open. Well, what is going on? Well, what is happening is we ran this low inside of the bullish fair value gap. As you can see, we swept out this sell side liquidity here, and on the US100, here is that same low, but we don't sweep that out. So what does that create? That creates SMT at these correlated lows here. SMT. So this is what I was looking at. So with this big sell-off, I realized that if I wanted to look for a change in the state on the lagging SMT, my stop would be very bad, and my take profit, which would be these equal highs, and I was looking for these highs as well, right? It would not be their best risk to reward. Plus, I always take the faster SMT because it offers the better risk to reward. So what I was looking for is SMT. Now I'm looking for our change in the state, which is the series of down close candles into our important level, which is the SMT. So the series of down close candles into this SMT is our change in the state / our order block. So now everything was set, right? This was my trade. This was what I was gonna take. Boom, set a limit order here, longing this, stop at the SMT low, targeting these previous New York highs, right? This was the trade. This was what I was looking for. And the reason I'm doing it on US500 is again because it creates the faster SMT, but US100 had the better narrative. So that's why this is charted up, but the entry is on here. So this is what I was looking for. This was my entry. I was just waiting for the tag back to the change in the state to enter me and run. So as you can see, I did not get the tag of the change in the state. So I did not get entered to this trade. Now, this is what I took from this trade and what I journaled. That once I have my clear and concise A+ setup and it does not enter me or just runs without me, I simply am just going to get off the charts because that was my one trade for the day, my one setup for the day, my one A+ model for the day, right? I'm only sticking to one trade a day because I want to manage risk and minimize losses. So after realizing this was my A+ entry, I just didn't get entered. This is where I should have gotten off the charts, even though we would have got stopped out. In the moment, this was A+. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This is my model, right? So once I realized this and it didn't enter me and it just ran without, this is where I should have just got off the charts and just had a no trade day. But instead, I stayed on the charts and I actually took the trade here on the US100. So for this is the correlated candle for the change in the state. As you can see here, this 925 correlated candle. So this was the change in the state. Close above, and as you can see, we get no retest. But here is where I actually took my entry. So as you can see, we're inside of that 1 hour bearish for value gap still, sweeping out these London highs. So now this is what I was looking at here. So as you can see, on the US500, we have this bullish for value gap here that we tag into on this 10:10 a.m. candle, and on the US100 we have that same for value gap, but as you can see, we don't tag it here. So this is kind of where I messed up at, because at this point in time I'm just chasing price, right? I'm just chasing an entry, because from this leg low to this high, we're clearly in a premium. But again, I failed to realize that, and I was just too eager to take an entry, which is something you don't want to do, right? Don't be too eager to take an entry. Don't force entries. Just don't trace price. Stick to one setup a day, one A+ setup a day. If you don't get tagged, or if you don't get it, simply hop off the charts, right? But in this trade, I didn't do that, which is a great learning moment, and I get to tell you guys that. But as you can see, on this candle, we tag, and we don't tag the fair value gap on here. So that creates bearish SMT, which I wouldn't really count this as an SMT because again it's so high in premium that this could just reverse at any moment, go back to discount, do whatever, and then go back up. So I wouldn't really count this, but again, in the moment I did count it because I took the trade. But again, no tag, take the faster SMT. So here, again, series of down close candles. Here, this was in that moment, this was my change in the state. So what am I doing? Waiting for the close above. And then on that retest would be my entry. Stop at this SMT low. Targeting that New York high. Again, because that was my draw. And then, as you can see, we get tagged. Start to rally a little bit. Start to just consolidate, and then bam, we lose. Right? So, looking at this, you know, obviously you're going to say this was a very bad trade, very bad entry, but again, in the moment, this to me looked like a good setup because I just wanted to see a continuation to these highs. But again, what I failed to realize was this 1 hour bearish for value gap, again, still trading inside, still haven't inversed it, just taking buy side liquidity inside a bearish imbalance, right? Trying to chase price in a premium, right? All of these things were leading up to this trade losing, which again I failed to realize. Also, not waiting for the fair value gap tag. I wanted to see this stay open, create a breakaway, and go. Right? This was a trade, again, not the best trade, but again, what did I learn from this, and what can you guys take away from this? Well, always be patient, right? Don't chase entries. Stick to one A+ setup a day, and if you do not get it, simply get off the charts, right? Don't chase price in a premium, because as you can see, we are so high up in this leg here. Like premium would be around here, around this midpoint here. We are so high into that discount would be below here, below this line here, but we are so high in premium. Again, I failed to realize that. I just wanted to see a continuation, but this ultimately led to the loss. This was the losing trade. This was what I took, right? Again, I'm not ashamed to show my losses because losing is a part of trading, and I just want to take the time to show you guys my loss and show you like how to avoid losses like these and what to look out for and how to minimize your losses. You're gonna lose, everybody's gonna lose, but I just want to try to show you guys how to minimize that. So yeah, this was the trade. Stop out, fair value got tagged. Again, super high in premium, but again, ultimately we just drop back down, respect this higher time frame, bearish fair value gap here. As you can see, we do not inverse it. We do inverse this fair value gap, but what do? We come back down, sweep out this low. So this SMT was used to target these highs here, and then ultimately I just wanted to see these get hit because they were in favor of the direction that I wanted to go in. But yeah, just this SMT here was used to target these relative equal highs because again, that is a leg that put in that SMT, right? This high and this low are correlated, right? This high and this low are correlated. So when this SMT gets put in, this is to run that high. Same thing on US100. If we go back down, this high, this low are correlated. This SMT being put in is used to target these correlated relative equal highs. Trade back down, sweep sell side. So sweep these New York AM lows. So I wasn't on the charts at this time, but we sweep these New York AM lows right here. don't create SMT, let's see. Yeah, so we don't create SMT, but what do? We respect bullish imbalances here. And then our change in state could be here. Last series of down close candles into that important level. Change in state. Retag. Again, this is a better entry. Why? Because we are not so high in a premium. We're more of like the midpoint of the premium discount range. We just swept sell side. Just respected this higher time frame bearish imbalance. Again, just swept sell side. We have a lot of resting highs, so my target would probably be these New York AM highs here. Again, all of this is just to run this liquidity. This is not bearish imbalances that I want to see respected, because this is just for the move down to create liquidity to take liquidity to then drive price higher. So after the retest, let's see, boom, we hit TP, absolutely no drawdown except for on this candle. But this would have been a better trade, better entry. Overall, everything about this is better. Again, I wasn't on the charts at this time because I already took my one trade, but this is just the power of patience. As you can see here on our original trade, we don't get tagged. This was the original trade, right? We don't get tagged. Price runs. Okay, I noticed this. Okay, you know what? It ran without me. I'm off the charts, you know, and then come back for PM session, which like 1 to 3:30 or something like that. Let's see. PM session offers better price action. Come back down. Sweep out sell side while still, look at this, still respecting 1 hour imbalances. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's raining outside. Sorry for that. But as you can see, we're still respecting this 1 hour fair value gap here. So we still haven't inversed it. So that's how you can tell that we're still bullish. We still want to see higher prices. So we respect this bullish imbalance, respect this 5-minute imbalance. After sweeping sell side, wait for the series of down close candles into that important level to get closed above. Set a limit order on the retest of this order block, which this whole thing would be the order block. From that candle high to that candle low, that's the order block. But that's just the beginning of it, so that's why I mark it out like that. But wait for the retest, targeting resting highs, New York AM highs. So this here is a perfect market maker buy model PM session version, because as you can see here, this whole leg down, we're just generating buy side levels, right? Whoa. Just generating buy side. Like all of these resting highs are just low resistance liquidity. This here, this New York AM high, that's the target liquidity, because that is the most highest point of this whole leg down, right? So that's just the power of patience. That just shows you what patience can do for you, how to use it, like how to learn from your mistakes, how to learn from losses. Again, like I've said previously, a losing trade is not a loss unless you do not learn from it, right? So if you learn from your loss, it is a learning moment. It is never a losing trade, right? You do not justify a losing trade by your capital. Yeah, I may have lost money today on this trade, but I don't care, because in my mind, it's not a losing trade because I learned from it. I learned to not chase price. I learned that once price runs without me, without entering me, I'm off the charts, because again, staying on the charts after that, after not getting entered, can lead to FOMO and lead to you chasing price. And I literally caught the consolidation, right? I caught this whole consolidation move just for it to dump, right? So don't chase price. Stick to one A plus setup a day. And if you do not get entered, simply get off the charts for that whole day until your next trading session. And again, with that next trading session, just stick to one A plus setup. If you do not get it, or if you do not get entered, simply just get off the charts, because it is not worth it to stay on and possibly risk FOMO and possibly just put your capital at risk for unnecessary losses. Right? So I would classify today as an unnecessary loss. Right? This was a loss that could have been easily avoided, but then again, it happened for a reason. It happened so I can learn from it. Right? So that's just the way I like to look at things. I don't really like to look at losses as actual losses, because that can mess with your psychology, and I've put in a lot of work into getting my psychology right just to trade and my overall life, and I just don't want to ruin that by just getting FOMO and all this and not learning from my mistakes. So yeah, and that's the trade that I took today. Those are the lessons that I got from it. I hope you guys can gain some insight from this trade, from this loss. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.